Jenga claimed that he had known Mboya for 9 years and regarded him as friend. So it made many wonder, how can a man Mboya helped end up being his shooter?
Well, this expression cannot just be defined in one word because it represents a lot of things. It represents, for example, our belief that in Africa, the kind of economic, social, and political institutions that make sense must find their meaning in the African setup.
We are glad to introduce somebody who is going to take us around, tell us more about what is taking place here, and to know about our legend. Thank you so much. How are you doing, sir? I'm good. Alright, asante sana kwa kukaribisha. Tumetembelea hapa leo ili tujue historia ya nchi yetu ya Tom Mboya, kwa sababu ni mtu ambaye ako na sifa zake wakati wa uhai wake, na pia wanadadisi wanasema kwamba hakuna kiongozi ambaye labda kusema kwa saizi labda anaweza mfikia. Asante sana.
Karibu.
Kwa majina unaitwa nani?
Naitwa Tom. I'm a nephew to Benet. I was actually at the age of 39 by the time of his death. So actually when he died, he was still a resident within the family homestead. So where you are is actually the larger family. Tom's father, or this was a polygamous setup kind of a family. His father happened to have 5 wives. As we speak, we still have 4 of them. He actually lost the 2 parents, the father and the mother, same year, a difference of 2 months between the 2 of them, but they died like 18 years after Tom's death. So that is actually why he came up to this world, just to give them some privacy and security. So as we speak, the rest of the family are living on the other side of the world. Now just where this cars apart is where he had his first house, the Simba.
The Simba, yes.
Yeah, the Simba is not standing as per the Luo old culture. Now in the Luo old culture, if somebody died most of the tender age and leave behind their own family, the immediate family will sit and agree on who to take the responsibility. I mean, there was that culture of inheritance. So after Tom's death, the family sat and agreed on Tom's rather immediate follower by the name Alfonso Kufu. But remember, same culture would dictate that to inherit your brother's wife, you don't stay behind the same house. So that first house has to be brought down, then a new one be erected. And that is why Tom's house is not standing here. A more modern was built at the far end, but later demolished. You know, in the African cultures, it reaches a time normally, a man will have to move from his father's homestead to establish his own home. It was unfortunate because Tom died before moving. So later, through the stewardship of Alphonse and Pamela, they managed to move the Tom family to a mainland, a place called Lambo Valley, just on their way to Omagui. That is where we have the Tom's immediate family. We know very well Tom was one of the leading lights for the struggle for Kenya's independence. And I believe at the age of 39, Tom had achieved everything in life. Tom was like an all-round man. He'd be found everywhere. He was a great politician. He was an educationist. He was a great lawyer. He was a great family man, a policy maker, and Tom would be found everywhere. Yes.
Thank you so much. Now, I just want to bring you back to your family. As you know, somebody who we are talking about is somebody who is admired, even to the young people read his history and they just want to be like him. Now, when you come into your family setup, is there any of your family members who has inherited the Tom Mboya's vision and dream of this country, Kenya?
Actually, that is, do I say it's in the entire family? But the difference is the kind of politics we have in Kenya today. The politics we have is quite different from what Tom and others were playing. After Tom, remember we had Alfonso Kuku. Okuku was an MP for Mbita before it was subdivided into the Sudan North and South. Okuku became an MP here for 2 terms and an assistant minister for broadcasting. Then after Okuku, Peter, Tom's elder son, was also ambitious. Unfortunately, he died on this sports motorbike accident in 2004. But as we speak now, actually we have a candidate as a family, as a Diege family. We have Victor Diege, one of Tom's younger brothers, aspiring. And I say an MP is waiting. Yes.
Who died because he fought, whose battles are still unknown. Unwon, okay, I see that. Sorry for that. And these are powerful words. If you read them, you feel like this spirit that is invoking others. Who came up with the writing, or these are some of his words that maybe he was saying when he was still alive?
Okay, after Tom's death, this was like placed globally.
Yeah.
And different people came up with different writings all over the world.
Yeah.
But this was picked from an American writer. Actually, just not somebody big, not a professor, not an engineer, but we are made to understand that he was like a street boy. But you know, Tom was much known in the Western regions, more so the US. So this young boy thought of what Tom had done. And you know, Tom basically was measured into 3 issues. 1 was illiteracy, 2 was health, and 3 corruption.
Yeah.
And this is a fight that up to now we are still fighting. It is a war that has not been won.
Yes.
Yeah, that is why this is here. And again, going by Tom's legacy, yeah, what he did still could not be matched by anybody, and we still have them operation. Yeah.
Thank you so much. And I know we can talk about Mboya because like his stories are usually quite much inspiring, and like if you start to talk about Mboya, you will. Right here looking at this place where there's this symbol. What does this one signify? This symbol.
Okay, Tom died on the 5th of July, 1969.
Yes, sir.
After the announcement of his death, there was a lot of chaos. Protests, demonstrations, killings. The entire nation had come to a standstill. So Tom had to be buried as quick as possible for the normalcy to return. Within 6 days, everything was done. So on the 9th, the body would be driven from Nairobi to Homa Bay, St. Paul's Catholic. That is one of the churches Tom had helped build in Homa Bay. The body stayed over the night in Homa Bay. Then the next day, the body driven home again, stayed over the night in Homa Bay. Then the following day, on the 11th, Tom would be laid to rest here. 2 years later, the family and most of Tom's friends, most of from the US, raised money towards the building of this mausoleum. Actually, we know very well a mausoleum is a final resting place of a great person. So they had wanted to have this as a permanent memorial in Tom's honor. And that is why if you're keen at the main building, right from the base to the tip, this takes a bullet shape, just to tell the kind of death that Tom had met. Now, if the door would have been locked, there's a symbol of a coffin and a cross. Initially, we used to bury using cow skins or maybe mats. But by the time of Tom's death, the coffin had been introduced. So Tom was not basically buried using a cow skin or a mat as it used to be, but he was buried using a coffin. Now, inside is our gallery. So the door has a symbol of a coffin, and there is a cross. Remember, Tom was a devoted Catholic. Actually, Tom many a times was an altar boy. In his thinking, Tom had wanted to be a Catholic priest. But going by the kind of treatment that were given to the Africans by the colonial government, Tom did not think of coming a priest because he knew he would be associated with that kind of treatment. So he gave up, but remained a devoted Catholic. That is why this cross is here. But being a Luo, and going by the Luo cultures, this was embroidered just to tell the kind of burial he was given. Examples of the ships that were used in the slavery here. Yeah. So Tom was one man who fought for the right of home and person, and most of the workers would be given this by the master of workers. He became the very first patron of the Mount Kenya Safari Club in Nanyuki immediately after the colonial government went. Then the floating ferry. Before we had the bridge, we used this manual chain ferry. This did not have an engine, but it had two chains that were pegged at the leg to vice versa. So like if you want to cross, you walk the ferry, you pull the chain, then you cross to the direction. So the exact day Tom's body was being ferried from the mainland to the island. Then there is the clock here. Yeah. Former US Ambassador Michael Redemark was here in 2007. He's the one who wrote this clock. Then these are from the Maasai's. Yeah. There is Tom's marriage certificate. Tom wedded Pamela in 1962, on the 20th of January 1962. Yeah? The wedding was presided over by Archbishop John McCarthy, and that was in Nairobi St. Peter's Grounds. Then there's the famous briefcase. This is exactly what Tom had in his hand at the time of shooting. Then this is from the Mount Kenya Safari Club. This is from the Kisses. This Bible is written in Hebrew, but an ivory quoted. Yeah. Now, Tom's wedding was actually funded by the Israel government. Okay. Yeah. Then later he had his army in Israel. Mm-hmm. Then the Bible was given to him by the Israeli Prime Minister on his army in Israel. Yeah. Then these carvings were done by the Kambas. They are very good in wood carving. But Tom and Pamela would be installed the Maasai areas, right? The Kenya Defense Force College and the Kenya Navy also visited, right? But this is much later. Up here is Tom's family. Yeah, this is the Tom's family. There is Justice Moreno Lero. Moreno is a High Court judge today in Embu. That is Tom's data. Then the late Peter, who died in a road accident in 2004. Peter was a great commercial lawyer. There is Tom Jr. and Lucas. Tom works for Transparency International. Lucas works for Ethics and Anti-Corruption. All of them are lawyers. Then Dr. Susan is the current global president of Coca-Cola. Susan does a project also in Africa that sees bright and really African ladies through scholarship. Then there is Odero, Maureen's husband. Susan is the wife of former Nairobi governor, Fidel. Yeah. Then a flag normally symbolizes power or authority. So the black one stood for the African color, then the white one stood for peace. The Buddhists and the Hindus as well honored Tom. He was a fan of music. The dancing cup was given to him by the Nairobi Dancing Committee as one of the best dancers. In Narosora, in Nam, he had laid the foundation stone when they were putting up a farm mechanization training scheme. But just a month to his death, Tom had attended the spacecraft launching in California. Now this is a special Korean gift. In a curie shop in England, Tom met with Queen Elizabeth. Then the Queen decided to buy him a special Korean gift. This is also another special gift from the Italian. This is from India. Then this is from Israel. Then the Camel Walls. Tom was a member of Nairobi Bowling Club. He would be installed an airline in Conakry in West Africa, and this from the Oxford University.
So you know, as a family, because like as we were going around, we come to realize that majority of it is gifts like from international communities, yes, or not from our home in Kenya. Majority of it, we appreciate the ones that are given with other communities. But you as a family, if you take us around as Kenyans and you tell us that these are coming from international family, how do you feel?
Tom was beyond a family. Yeah. So many a times you don't associate him with a family. Yeah. Tom was an international.
That pride,
and we are very proud of him, yeah, even at the time of death. Mm-hmm. We knew the legacy he left behind still lives.
Yes.
And that makes us proud as a family. Yes.
So you as a family, sometimes if you sit down and you have this family conversation and you relate it to the country, and you look at the kind of politics we have today, looking at the life of Tom Mboya, what does it bring to your mind as a family if you sit down just having this conversation about leadership and everything as a family?
Actually, we are wondering the kind of Kenya we are in today. If the likes of Tom would have been alive today, they would be wondering where they are. And even if they can wake today and see our nation the way it is, then they would even not want to live. Yeah, where they had risen Kenya to, Kenya is going back, far much back. And the kind of politics we have today is quite different. Today, the politics we do are basically on the stomach, not supporting or helping the nation or the communities. The likes of Tom did not have greed, they didn't have envies, there were no jealousies, and there were no own makings. What they did, they were doing as a community, as a unit, as a family. But today, each and every person is struggling to do his or our own things, just to make sure whoever wants to rise would rise through his own makings. The first African to be elected as student president in Oxford University, and giving a 2 hours unwritten speech surprised him, and he felt Tom was somebody to go by. Later, he would organize for Tom's a meeting with the committee that was in charge of Africa. So Tom would meet the likes of Martin Luther King, John F. Kennedy, Harry Belafonte, Jackie Robinson, Cora Weiss, and others, and they would come up with a foundation. There's this foundation called the African American Student Elite Foundation that saw several Kenyans and Africans through scholarship. We celebrate the likes of Wangare Maathai. So Shaman would later surprise like the entire world by writing a will to the effect that in time of death, he'd want his body be cremated and the ashes flown and buried here. Yeah.
Okay, thank you so much. Now, I know this place as we usually come, you take us around. Is there any support that you're getting from the government? Because he's a symbol of national unity. He carries the history of our country. Is there any support that maybe the government is sending the county or the national government?
From the county, not a single cent. From the government, 1,500 a month. But this does not come even monthly. It sometimes takes time before it is.
But now we have the leaders from this community. We would call it the rural community. Have they put in proposal, especially to push for that? Because this is very significant, not only to the nation, and it is significant even to the region, because this is a pride that we can't be proud of.
Actually, the National Museums of Kenya, I want to say they have tried. Most of the infrastructure you are seeing, apart from this that was built by the family and the friends, the walls, the ablution block, the walkway, and a few of the things you're seeing here were done by them. Even though after this was done in 2019-2020. From that, we actually not getting much to help us maintain the place. Hopefully, we know the museum will come in and give something proper. But from the leaders, they normally come here during the electioneer periods, and they have mostly taken Tom's Mausoleum as a shrine, where they normally come, offer prayers. Then after the election is done, then you'll see them again after 5 years.
Out of good faith or out of that Kenyaism, can you, or maybe have you ever thought of maybe, let's just put it somewhere and tell Kenyans who are coming to work to go around here and say that we can contribute something small, because to make sure that we maintain here somebody who's making this place clean, you know. Have you, when, like, now we are visiting, I've not seen even any posters that say that, okay, give us something small, out of good faith.
Actually, we don't have like a fixed charges.
Yes.
We haven't come up with.
Oh, yeah.
But openly, anybody willing to donate,
Yes.
contribute to help us maintain, we welcome.
Okay, thank you so much.
Yeah, but there are things that are still underway, so that maybe we'll come up with the charges. Yeah, but up to now, we appreciate the donations and the contributions that maybe well wishers, somebody willing to give to help us maintain the place, we appreciate.
Okay.
Yeah.
Thank you so much, my brother. For what has motivated you to come to this place?
Basically to expose the children to the story of Tom, because I feel he is one of the heroes who did quite a lot at a young age. By the time he was dying, he was 39, and he had already affected the world, essentially. So if we look at the airlifts, we have people like Obama Sr., who gave us Obama, who became a president of the free world, you know. We have now the likes of S.K. Mashari and all those people who made quite a big difference in the country and in the world. So it's just for them also to know that age doesn't matter. You can start being great quite a long time, and for them also to start getting that spirit of nationalism and patriotism at a young age, because it's the generation we are looking up to make a very huge difference in this country. I'm an optimist at heart. I believe we have all the right plans. It's a matter of implementation, of how we implement it. As we always say, there are some Asian countries that borrowed from Kenya and they implemented it the right way. So in terms of the plans we have the right plans. So it's just a matter of how we implement them. So I know there's the current generation and the coming generation that will do wonders in this country. We as parents just need to take the responsibility to ensure that they understand how to implement things the right way and do things for humanity.